What happens to our stage presence when we delete ancestral karma? This question is something that I am working with a lot at the moment with clients. As a personal advisor to people in the public eye, looking at how to develop and control stage presence, how to magnify it, this is one of the key areas that we work with. So, what does your ancestral karma have to do with the way that you present yourself on stage and on camera? Well, without you realizing it, there are these different layers within your being, within your structure, within your karmic structure. So you have your own baggage that you've brought in with you from birth, but we also have the ancestral layer of karma. And what I've seen over and over again, I've been around very famous people from the time I was very small. So I have seen this over and over again, that if you come from a family that is accustomed to fame, you have one set of challenges. At the same time, if you come from a family where you are the first person to really step into the public eye, you also have a set of challenges. And they can look very different, but what they have in common is that they are your ancestors reaching out into your reality and trying to hold you back. Not because they don't like you, but because you are troubling what they are accustomed to. You're disrupting the field. You are disrupting their akashic field and what they are used to. So every time we step out and accomplish something new, every time we are striving for a new level of accomplishment, our ancestors feel uncomfortable. They're present in your genetic makeup. They feel uncomfortable. It's like, this does not feel right. This is not what we are used to. That is when patterns of sabotage can come up. Patterns of sabotage that seem completely illogical. They don't make any sense. Opportunities will come and then they'll just disappear for no reason. And you'll notice this as a pattern. Or opportunities will come, you are ready, and then at the last minute, you will become unwell. If you notice this sort of thing as a pattern, it could be that it is a layer of ancestral karma that's holding you back. So how do we delete this? Sadhana, different types of spiritual practice, are designed to bring you into balance, to bring your internal system into greater coherence and balance. So we could actually say that almost any sadhana will help you to delete ancestral karma for the simple reason that it is bringing your system into greater symmetry and coherence. So now you have that increased stability and that increased symmetry and balance. The flaws in your ancestral patterning are less likely to take over because now they have to get over the strength of your internal coherence. So any sadhana that you are doing will help. And of course, there are particular sadhanas that are very strong, that are particularly designed to remove ancestral blocks and ancestral karma. So when you are looking at how you come across in the public eye, when you're looking at your journey with stage presence, are you achieving the level of results? Are you getting the opportunities? Are you getting the invitations to the stages that you want to get? If you are seeing patterns of a block, it could be that there is ancestral karma at play. Don't eat when you're upset. This is something that we have all heard when we were growing up. And the reason for it, of course, is that your emotional state impacts the way in which your digestion functions. We all know this from experience. But this week, I've been thinking about the flip side, the positive side of this. What happens when we eat, when we are feeling in a particularly pleasant and uplifted state? What happens when we eat in conditions that are so vibrant and alive and conducive, and they just feel nourishing, when the entire environment feels supportive and light and uplifting? Well, I had such an experience. Earlier this week, a few days ago, I was invited to a networking lunch. And somehow the entire day flowed so beautifully, right from the time that I left home to go on my journey to the location, to the venue. Arriving at the venue, the staff were very welcoming. The entire atmosphere was light and uplifting. The table was beautifully set. All of the people, the group that I was meeting, we had never met before. So it was a meeting, a first meeting, a coming together of strangers to share food and share conversation over like-minded topics. And I noticed that not only did I really enjoy the food, it was fresh and well prepared, of course. Yes, there was that. But more than that, there was an enjoyment. It was like layers of enjoyment were floating around the table, floating around the atmosphere. And so the food actually felt more nourishing. The whole experience went beyond the physical digestion. There was a sort of emotional digestion, which comes back to this idea of don't eat when you're upset. But actually, when you do eat in an environment that feels uplifting and light, I feel like the nourishment went deeper. Actually feel like the nourishment in the food went into my cells and into my mind at a deeper level. It's like I was able to absorb the nutrition more. And it is said in the Upanishads, actually, there is that line that says that the most dense part of the food becomes the body, but the subtler part of the food becomes the mind. And in fact, the very, very dense part becomes excreted, it is left. So there's the dense part that leaves the body, the middling part that becomes the body, the physical flesh body, and then the subtle part that becomes the mind. So there is this idea that we absorb the quality of the food into the mind. And I definitely noticed it that day. My whole body and mind felt uplifted and light. This quality of the food and the company, the food and the company, this combination was such a beautiful experience. For adornment this week, I have a very poetic take on lipstick. I was in town earlier this week and I bought a new lipstick. It's a beautiful pink and also a lip liner, which is sort of a brown red. It's actually called beet for beetroot. And it's a sort of a reddy brown colour, which I like. I'm actually wearing it now. And I'm also wearing the lipstick, which it's this sort of pinky, a very pale, unapologetic pink. The colour is called Lipstick Snob. And the interesting thing about this lipstick for me is, first of all, look at that, the colour combination. When you put these two contrasting pieces together and look at how they work together. Of course, I enjoy the colours. There's that. It's beautiful. But this combination of red and pink, and I was noticing how if you smudge them together, of course, you get different layers of red and pink. You can get completely different colours. The colours can do quite unexpected things, which is where you get this extraordinary variety just with two blocks of colour. And the red and the pink got me thinking about a beautiful experience that I had last year. I had had the opportunity to attend a Sri Vidya puja. And during this puja, flowers, many, many petals, layers and layers of petals were offered to Devi onto the Sri Yantra. Handfuls and handfuls of petals, and they were all colours of red and pink, all the different shades of red and pink, from very, very pale and delicate right through to extraordinarily vibrant. And I remember the atmosphere in the room and the lamplight. It was this womb space of just cosmic, potent throbbing, and also extraordinarily sweet. There was this really sweet quality to the experience and the sound of the lalitasahasranama. So I remember being mesmerized as these petals, the flower petals, were continually offered. And this pile just grew and grew and grew, this pile of reds and pinks. And it got me thinking about Devi's garment. It was almost as if the petals had become a sari for her. These layers of different shades of shimmering pink and red. And so when I bought this lipstick and the lip liner this week, that combination of red and pink immediately took me back into that experience of the lalitasahasranama, of Devi's names, and this invocation through the petals and the offering of the flowers to her, this cosmic invocation of beauty. So somehow, since that experience, it was so vivid. The combination of red and pink often reminds me of that moment and takes me back into this beautiful, sweet cosmic space. And I'm sharing this because when we think of adornment, and this is something I keep speaking about, don't dismiss it as something frivolous. Adornment, especially in the Indic knowledge systems and aesthetics, has the ability to take us immediately into a state of expanded consciousness. Adornment has the ability to take us into cosmic awareness. And this is a concrete example from my own experience. I had this amazing experience through the flower petals and the offering of flower petals. And now, when I'm interacting with lipstick and lip liner, I can bring that consciousness into my adornment. It's exquisite and potent to shift my consciousness immediately with adornment. Sadhana this week, I want to speak about switching up your practice, switching up your sadhana. And again, this is something I've spoken about before. The reason I think it's important is that we have to remember that the purpose of sadhana is not for us to become slavishly entangled with doing one practice every day, day in, day out. You are not meant to be there in service to the practice. The practice is there to be in service to your development. And you are constantly evolving. That's the point. If you're doing your practice, you are constantly evolving. So it's important to pay attention to how you are evolving, what is changing in your life, what is new in this moment, where are you now? If you look back over the last 12 months, what's happening in your life now? What is the kind of sadhana that's required now? So I've been really thinking about the importance of keeping your practice dynamic. Keep your practice dynamic. And this links back to the beginning of the video where I spoke about deleting ancestral karma. If you want to keep up with deleting your karmic stack, it's important to keep your sadhana dynamic. Your sadhana needs to keep up with you, keep up with where you are at. And yes, of course, if you have a guru, get their guidance, get the guidance as much as you can, but also remember to pay attention to your own intuition. Pay attention to your own sense, your own sensation about your body, your mind, how things are moving for you right now, how things are moving for you over the last 3 months. Look at it in time blocks. Look back 12 months. Look at your progress. Look back over the last 3 months. What's happening in this season? What is it that you need now? What is required now? And switch up your sadhana accordingly.